My beloved child, before you hear another word, I want you to quiet your heart and listen to mine. You have carried burdens you were never meant to carry, and for too long you have believed that pain was your identity. Today, I am calling you closer, not to remind you of who you were, but to reveal who I created you to be. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you can change the way you see your life forever. My beloved child, don't scroll away just yet. This moment is not a coincidence. I have been waiting for you to slow down long enough to hear my voice. Before I speak about where I am leading you, I need you to answer one question honestly. Are you tired? Or are you simply tired of pretending that you're not? My beloved child, before I speak about where I am leading you, I need you to answer one question, not for me, because I already know the truth, but for yourself. Who has been shaping the person you have become? Has it been my voice? Or has it been your fear? Many of my children have lived for years wearing an identity I never gave them. They wake up each morning believing they are simply being realistic, cautious, or independent. They tell themselves, "This is just who I am." But what they call personality is often pain that is learned how to survive. Think about that for a moment. Are you avoiding people because I created you to live in isolation, or because disappointment taught you not to trust? Do you stay silent because I made you invisible, or because rejection convinced you that your voice does not matter? Do you expect the worst because you possess wisdom, or because fear has whispered the same story to you for so many years that it now sounds like the truth? My beloved child, there is a great difference between the identity I formed within you and the identity your wounds have tried to build around you. The person I created walks by faith. The person shaped by fear walks by self-protection. The person I created is able to love freely. The person shaped by pain loves cautiously, always waiting for the next disappointment. The person I created trusts my guidance. The person shaped by fear believes everything depends on controlling every outcome. Do you see the difference? Fear has a quiet way of disguising itself. It rarely introduces itself as fear. Instead, it calls itself wisdom. It calls itself caution. It calls itself experience. Slowly, without realizing it, you begin making decisions based on what hurt you yesterday instead of what I am speaking over your tomorrow. I never intended your past to become the architect of your future. Remember Moses. Before the burning bush, he believed he was nothing more than a failure who had ruined his own future. He saw himself as a fugitive hiding in the wilderness, far from purpose. When I called him, his first response was not confidence but fear. "Who am I?" he asked. He believed his weakness was his identity. Yet I saw a deliverer standing where he only saw a broken man. Remember Gideon. When I called him a mighty warrior, he did not recognize the name. He argued with me because he believed his family was insignificant and that he himself was the weakest among them. His circumstances had become the mirror through which he viewed himself. But my words were always more true than his feelings. My beloved child, noticed something both Moses and Gideon had in common. Neither of them had to become someone new before I called them. I simply revealed who they already were, in my eyes. The same is true for you. You do not have to earn the identity I have given you. You only need to stop agreeing with the identity fear has been offering you. Perhaps you have spent years saying, "I'm just anxious. I'm just not good enough. I'm always overlooked. I'll probably fail. This is simply my personality." But ask yourself honestly, did those beliefs begin with me, or did they begin with painful moments that were never meant to define you? Pain can teach lessons, but it is a terrible teacher of identity. Fear can influence your behavior, but it cannot rewrite the purpose for which I created you. Before we continue, if you believe I am still working in your life even when you cannot yet see it, write Amen below. Let that simple word become your declaration of trust today. And as you do, let your heart remember that faith is not built by what your eyes can already see, but by what your spirit chooses to believe. Now, listen carefully, my beloved child, because what I am about to show you may change the way you have seen yourself for many years. There is a difference between learning from your past and living inside it. Some people build permanent homes in temporary seasons. They continue answering to names that belong only to a chapter of their story instead of the whole book I am writing. My beloved child, I know why you learned to protect yourself. I know why you became cautious. I know why you hesitate before trusting again. I saw every disappointment that made you believe you had to carry life alone. I do not condemn you for those responses. I understand where they came from, but understanding why something happened is not the same as calling it your identity. A child who has lived through storms may keep looking at the sky, expecting another one. Yet the storm was never meant to become the child's definition. In the same way, your pain may explain some of your reactions, but it does not have permission to define who you are. Imagine someone wearing a heavy coat in the middle of winter. At first, the coat protects them from the cold, but when spring arrives, they continue wearing it because it feels familiar. Soon, they forget it was only meant for one season. Fear often works the same way. What once helped you survive becomes the very thing that keeps you from living. That is why I am inviting you to look beyond the version of yourself that pain created. I want you to see the son or daughter I have always seen, the one who is deeply loved, faithfully guided, and never abandoned. Do not confuse survival with identity. Do not confuse caution with calling. Do not confuse old wounds with the person I created you to become. Before you begin my prayer, tell me where you come from in this world, so that we may all pray together. Because fear may shape behavior for a season, but it has never possessed the authority to define your identity. And, my beloved child, recognizing that false identity is only the first step. In the next part, I will show you how living in survival mode can quietly become a prison and why I am calling you into a completely different way of living. My beloved child, now that you have begun to recognize the difference between the identity I gave you and the identity fear tried to create, I want to show you something that many people never notice. Surviving is not the same as living. There was a season when survival was necessary. When you were wounded, betrayed, disappointed, or overwhelmed, your heart learned how to protect itself. It built walls. I became cautious. It watched every conversation carefully. It expected problems before they arrived. Those responses may have helped you endure difficult days, but what protects you during one season can quietly imprison you in the next. Many of my children are no longer living in the storm, yet they continue living as if the storm never ended. That is what I call a survival mindset. A survival mindset is not always loud. Sometimes it appears in small, ordinary moments. You overthink every decision because you are afraid of making another mistake. You replay conversations in your mind, wondering if you said the wrong thing. You struggle to trust kind people because someone else once broke your trust. You keep your distance because rejection seems easier to expect than another broken heart. You convince yourself that being alone is safer than risking disappointment again. Perhaps you have even said, "I'm just careful." But, my beloved child, are you truly walking in wisdom, or are you simply letting fear make your decisions? There is an important difference. Wisdom listens to my voice. Fear listens to past wounds. Wisdom prepares without panic. Fear prepares for disaster before it even exists. Wisdom brings peace. Fear steals peace while pretending to protect it. This is why so many people become exhausted even when nothing is wrong. Their bodies may finally be resting, but their hearts never stop searching for danger. Have you noticed how difficult it can become to simply enjoy a peaceful moment? Even when life is quiet, your mind keeps asking, what if something goes wrong? What if they leave? What if I fail? What if this blessing doesn't last? Those questions do not come from the faith I desire for you. They grow from a heart that has spent too long in survival mode. Think about someone who has lived through a terrible storm. Long after the skies become clear, they still jump every time they hear thunder. Their reaction makes sense because of what they experienced. But imagine if years passed and they never allowed themselves to believe the storm was over. Eventually, they would stop enjoying sunny days because they would always be waiting for dark clouds to return. Some of my children are living exactly that way. The past keeps speaking louder than the present. My child, I understand why you became cautious. I know every disappointment that taught you to expect rejection. I know the betrayal that made trust feel dangerous. I know the unanswered prayers that tempted you to stop hoping. I have never ignored your pain. but I also refuse to let your pain become the prison where you spend the rest of your life. Look at David before he stood before Goliath. Everyone else saw an impossible giant. Fear had already convinced the army that defeat was certain. But David looked through the eyes of faith instead of the eyes of survival. He remembered my faithfulness more than he remembered danger. His confidence was not rooted in his own strength, it was rooted in mine. Now compare that with Elijah after the victory on Mount Carmel. He had witnessed fire fall from heaven. He had seen my power displayed before an entire nation. Yet only a short time later, one threat from Jezebel sent him running into the wilderness. Fear became louder than yesterday's miracle. He isolated himself. He believed he was completely alone. He even wanted to give up. Was Elijah weak? No. He was exhausted, and exhaustion often makes fear sound believable. Perhaps you have experienced something similar. Maybe I have already answered prayers in your life. Maybe I have carried you through seasons you never thought you would survive. Yet today, your mind still whispers that this next challenge will finally defeat you. Fear has a way of making you forget everything I have already done. One of the greatest mistakes people make is confusing constant alertness with wisdom. They believe that expecting disappointment will somehow protect them from future pain. They think trusting no one is maturity. They think worrying about every possibility is their responsibility. But constantly preparing for the worst does not create peace. It only creates exhaustion. True wisdom does not come from assuming the worst. True wisdom comes from walking closely with me. When you trust me, you do not ignore reality. You simply refuse to let fear become the loudest voice in your life. My child, I never created you merely to survive another day. I created you to experience my peace even when life feels uncertain. I created you to love, without allowing yesterday's wounds to control tomorrow's relationships. I created you to trust me more than your fears. Remember this truth and hold it close to your heart. Survival may have carried you through your hardest season, but it was never meant to become your permanent identity. I am not calling you to remain the person who only knows how to endure. I am calling you to become the person who knows how to live with hope again. And yet, there is another obstacle that keeps many of my children trapped. Even after leaving survival mode behind, they continue believing quiet lies about themselves, lies repeated so often that they begin to sound like truth. In the next part, I want to expose those hidden lies and replace them with the truth that has always been waiting to set you free. My beloved child, there is something I want you to understand today. Not every battle in your life begins with your circumstances. Some battles begin with a single lie that quietly takes root in your heart. The enemy rarely begins with obvious deception. Instead, he whispers small thoughts that seem harmless at first. You've missed your chance. Nothing is ever going to change. God has forgotten about you. You'll always be this way. Everyone eventually leaves. The more often you hear those words, the more familiar they become. And what is familiar can begin to feel true even when it is completely false. That is why I want you to pay close attention to the conversations happening inside your own mind. Every day, you believe in someone's voice. The question is, whose voice are you believing? Is it mine, or is it the voice of fear, disappointment, and past pain? One of the most dangerous lies many of my children believe is this: it's too late for me. Perhaps you look at your age, your past mistakes, or the opportunities you believe you have lost. You compare your journey with someone else's, and suddenly you feel as though your story has already ended before my promises could be fulfilled. But have you forgotten Abraham and Sarah? From a human perspective, their dream seemed impossible. Every year that passed appeared to make my promise less believable. Their bodies grew older, their hope became weaker. Even Sarah laughed because what I had spoken seemed beyond reason, yet I was never limited by the calendar. What seemed late to people was perfectly on time in my plan. My child, if I can fulfill my promise through Abraham and Sarah, do not tell yourself that your life has passed its expiration date. I am not controlled by human deadlines. Another quiet lie sounds like this: God forgot me. Perhaps you have prayed for months, or even years, and heaven has seemed silent. You have watched other people receive answers while you continue waiting. Slowly, disappointment begins rewriting your expectations. Without realizing it, you stop expecting me to move. But let me ask you something. Did I forget Joseph in the prison? Did I forget David while he was hiding in caves? Did I forget my people during their years in the wilderness? No. Waiting has never been evidence of my absence. Sometimes I am preparing your heart while I prepare the answer. Sometimes I protect you through delays that you do not yet understand. Never mistake my silence for my abandonment. Then there is another lie that quietly steals hope. Nothing will ever change. This lie is especially dangerous because it convinces you to stop expecting miracles before they even arrive. You begin saying things like, "This is just my life. This is who I'll always be. There is no point in trying." But my beloved child, I specialize in changing what people call impossible. The same Peter who denied me 3 times became the bold disciple who proclaimed the gospel without fear. The same man who once trembled before a servant girl later stood before crowds and kings with courage. What changed? Not Peter's past. His heart was transformed by my presence. If I could change Peter, why would you believe I cannot change you? Perhaps another lie has quietly settled into your heart. I always fail because of one mistake. Or several mistakes. You have begun treating failure as though it were your identity. Listen carefully. Failure is something that happens. It is not someone you are. Peter failed. Thomas doubted. Moses doubted himself. David stumbled. Yet I was never surprised by their weaknesses. I called them because of who I knew they could become through my grace, not because they had already become perfect. Stop allowing one chapter to define the entire story. Another painful lie many people carry is this: nobody stays. Perhaps people have walked away from you. Relationships have ended. Promises have been broken. Trust has been shattered. Eventually, your heart begins expecting everyone to leave, and when someone genuinely loves you, you struggle to believe they will remain. My child, people may disappoint you, but I never will. Others may change. I do not. Others may leave without explanation. I have promised never to leave you nor forsake you. Build your confidence upon my faithfulness, not upon human consistency. Do you see how these lies work? Each one begins as a thought. A thought becomes a belief. A belief shapes your expectations. Your expectations influence your choices. And before long, you begin living inside a story that I never wrote for you. That is why I keep calling you back to my word. Your feelings are real. I do not ask you to pretend they do not exist. When you are discouraged, I know you are discouraged. When you are afraid, I know you are afraid. When you are confused, I understand your confusion. But my child's feelings make wonderful indicators. They make terrible foundations. Feelings change with circumstances. My word does not. Thomas believed what his eyes could not see. He convinced himself that hope was over. Yet one encounter with me completely changed his understanding. How often have you believed your emotions without bringing them into the light of my truth? Never allow temporary emotions to overrule eternal truth. Whenever fear says, "It's over," ask yourself, did God say that? Whenever anxiety says, "Nothing will change," ask yourself, did God speak those words? Whenever shame whispers, "You'll never recover," ask yourself, does that sound like my voice? If the answer is no, then do not continue believing a message that I never sent. Here is the lesson I want you to carry into every new day. Not every thought deserves your agreement. The loudest voice is not always the truest voice. My truth has never depended on how you feel at the moment. And as you begin replacing hidden lies with my promises, you will discover something remarkable. The greatest transformations do not usually begin with dramatic miracles. More often, they begin quietly, in seasons where it feels as though nothing is happening at all. In the next part, I want to show you why my silence is often the place where I am doing my deepest work. My beloved child, one of the hardest seasons for the human heart is not the season of suffering, it is the season of silence. Pain at least gives you something to respond to. But silence can leave you wondering if anyone is listening at all. Perhaps you have prayed faithfully, yet nothing seems to be changing. You continue to trust, yet no new door has opened. You keep waiting, yet heaven feels unusually quiet. If you have ever asked, Lord, where are you? I want you to know that you are not alone. Many of my faithful servants ask the same question. But here is what I want you to understand today. My silence has never meant my absence. More often than you realize, I do. My deepest work where human eyes can see the least. The world celebrates what is visible. I value what is being built in secret. Think about a tree. When you first plant the seed, nothing appears above the ground. Day after day, it seems as though nothing is happening. Someone walking past might even assume the seed has failed. But beneath the surface, roots are stretching deeper into the soil. No applause, no recognition, no visible progress. Yet the most important work is already happening. My child, your life often follows that same pattern. You want to see the branches. I am strengthening the roots. You want immediate answers. I am preparing a lasting character. You ask me to change your circumstances. Sometimes I begin by changing your heart. Consider Joseph. When I gave him dreams, he expected the promise to arrive quickly. Instead, he experienced betrayal, slavery, false accusations, and years in prison. Imagine how confusing that must have felt. Every event appeared to move him farther away from the future I had spoken. But I was never delaying my promise. I was preparing the man who would one day carry it. If Joseph had reached the palace before learning humility, patience, wisdom, and forgiveness, the position would have destroyed him instead of blessing him. Preparation is never punishment. It is protection. Now think about David. I anointed him as king, while Saul was still sitting on the throne. Can you imagine the confusion? David knew my promise, yet he returned to caring for sheep. Later, he fled into caves. He spent years running for his life instead of sitting upon the throne that had already been promised to him. From a human perspective, it looked like nothing was happening. From my perspective, everything was happening. Every lonely night in the wilderness was teaching him how to depend upon me. Every difficult season was shaping a shepherd into a king. Then consider my own son. For nearly 30 years, Jesus lived an ordinary life before his public ministry began. 30 years. The one who would change the world was not in a hurry. The world often values speed. Heaven values readiness. If even Jesus embraced hidden years before his public calling, why do you become discouraged when your own preparation takes longer than expected? And remember Paul. After his dramatic encounter with me, he did not immediately begin the ministry for which he would become known. There were quiet years. Years of learning. Years of growing. Years when very few people noticed what I was doing. Those hidden seasons were not wasted. They became the foundation for everything that followed. My child, you often measure time differently than I do. Your timeline asks, how soon? Mine asks, how prepared? Your timeline focuses on arrival. Mine focus en transformation. Because reaching the destination without becoming the right person is not success. Imagine trying to build a beautiful house. Would you decorate the walls before pouring the foundation? Would you place a roof over empty air? Of course not. Yet many people ask me to give them greater responsibility before allowing me to strengthen the character that will support it. You ask for influence. I teach humility. You ask for a promotion. I develop faithfulness. You ask for open doors. I strengthen integrity. You ask for blessings. I prepare your heart to steward them well. What feels like delay is often construction. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that visible progress is the only kind of progress. Because they cannot see me working, they assume I have stopped working. But tell me this, does the builder stop building simply because the foundation is hidden beneath the ground? No. The strongest parts of any building are often the parts no one ever sees. The same is true of your life. The prayers spoken in private, the tears no one witnessed, the quiet choices to obey me when nobody was watching. Those moments matter more than you realize. They are becoming the unseen strength that will support everything I place into your hands. So do not despise ordinary days. Do not underestimate slow seasons. Do not believe that quiet seasons are empty seasons. Some of the greatest miracles begin where nothing appears to be happening. When you cannot see my hand, Learn to trust my heart. When you cannot trace my plan, remember my character. Have I not been faithful before? Have I not carried you through seasons you thought you would never survive? Then why should this season be different? My silence is not a sign that I have forgotten you. It is often evidence that I am carefully arranging circumstances you cannot yet see. One day you will look back and realize that what seemed like unanswered waiting was actually perfect preparation. Here is the lesson I want you to remember whenever life feels quiet. Silence does not mean abandonment. Waiting does not mean failure. Hidden does not mean forgotten. What I build slowly is often what lasts the longest. And yet, even while I am preparing your future, another battle is taking place much closer than you realize. It is not merely around you, it is within you. In the next part, I want to show you why the greatest battlefield is often your own heart and mind, and how victory begins long before circumstances ever change. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand if you are going to walk in the freedom I have prepared for you. Not every battle is happening around you. Some of the greatest battles are happening within you. Many people spend their lives praying for me to change their circumstances while ignoring the place where the real conflict has already begun. The battlefield is often your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, your expectations. Before your hands ever act, your mind has already made a decision. Before your feet walk in one direction, your heart has already believed something. That is why I care so deeply about what is happening inside you. When people hear the words spiritual warfare, they often imagine something dramatic. They think only of attacks from the enemy or battles they cannot see. While spiritual warfare is real, I want you to understand something many overlook. Sometimes the greatest struggle is not a demon standing in front of you. Sometimes it is an old pattern still living inside you. Old habits, old fears, old ways of thinking, old reactions that no longer belong to the person I am shaping you to become. These patterns can quietly influence your life without you even realizing it. Perhaps someone disappointed you years ago. Today, every new friendship is filtered through that old wound. Perhaps you failed once. Now every new opportunity feels dangerous because your mind immediately remembers what happened before. Perhaps you grew up believing you were never enough. Even after I have opened new doors, you still question whether you deserve to walk through them. Do you see what is happening? The battle is no longer against what happened. The battle is against what you continue believing because it happened. That is why my word tells you to renew your mind. Not because I want to make your life more complicated, but because I know your future cannot flourish while your thinking remains trapped in yesterday. Your thoughts are powerful. If you constantly expect failure, you will struggle to recognize opportunity. If you constantly expect rejection, you may push people away before they ever have the chance to love you. If you constantly expect disappointment, it becomes difficult to celebrate the blessings I am already placing before you. My beloved child, your mind is like a garden. Whatever you water will grow. If you continually water fear, fear grows stronger. If you continually water resentment, bitterness grows deeper. If you continually water hope through my promises, peace begins to take root. This is why I ask you to guard what enters your heart, the conversations you listen to, the words you repeatedly speak over yourself, the voices you choose to believe. They all become seeds, and every seed eventually produces fruit. Consider the people of Israel after I delivered them from Egypt. Their chains had been removed. The Red Sea had opened before them. Miracles surrounded them. Yet freedom around them did not immediately create freedom within them. Again and again they looked backward instead of forward. When life became difficult, they remembered Egypt more fondly than they remembered my miracles. They complained. They doubted. They feared, not because I had abandoned them, but because their minds were still living where their bodies had already left. Egypt was no longer around them, yet Egypt remained inside them. My child, many people are living the same way today. Your past relationship is over, yet the fear remains. The failure happened years ago, yet shame still controls your choices. The difficult season has ended, yet anxiety continues speaking as though nothing has changed. You keep asking me to remove the obstacle, while I gently invite you to release the pattern. There is a difference. One changes your circumstances, the other transforms your life. One of the most common mistakes my children make is believing that if their surroundings improve, their hearts will automatically improve as well. But peace is not produced by perfect circumstances. Peace is produced by trusting me within every circumstance. Think about two people walking through the very same storm. One becomes overwhelmed. The other remains steady. The rain is identical. The wind is identical. The difference is not outside. The difference is inside. That is why I keep working on your heart. Because wherever you go, your heart goes with you. If fear controls your heart today, changing cities will not remove it. Changing jobs will not remove it. Changing relationships will not remove it. Only allowing my truth to reshape your inner life can accomplish that. My beloved child, I never intended for your memories to become your master. Memories are meant to teach wisdom. They were never meant to control your future. Neither did I create your emotions to become your ruler. Your emotions are gifts. They reveal what is happening inside you. But they were never designed to lead your life. Let my truth lead. Let your emotions follow. When your expectations are built upon my faithfulness instead of your past disappointments, hope begins to replace fear. Little by little, old patterns lose their power. Little by little, your reactions begin to change. Little by little, you become more like the person I created you to be. Remember this lesson whenever your mind feels overwhelmed. You cannot always choose your first thought, but you can choose whether you continue believing it. Bring every fearful thought into my presence. Hold every painful memory beside my promises. Ask yourself, does this thought draw me closer to my Father or deeper into fear? If it pulls you away from me, do not give it a permanent home in your heart, because I am inviting you into something greater than survival. I am inviting you into transformation, and transformation requires more than changing the way you live. It requires protecting the new life I am growing within you. In the next part, I want to show you why not everything I place in your heart should immediately be shared with the world, and why guarding what I am growing is one of the wisest acts of faith you can practice. My beloved child, now that you understand the battle is often won or lost within your own heart, I want to teach you another truth that many people overlook. Not everything I grow should immediately be exposed. Some things must first be protected. Think about a tiny seed. No wise farmer plants a seed and then digs it up every morning to see if it has grown. Neither does he leave it uncovered for every bird to steal. He waters it, he protects it, he gives it time. Only then does it become strong enough to bear fruit. Your faith grows the same way. The peace I am giving you, the new habits you are building, the healing takes place inside your heart. The calling I am awakening. None of these should be treated carelessly. What I am growing deserves your protection. Many people ask me for greater blessings while leaving the doors of their hearts completely unguarded. They pray for peace, but spend hours feeding their minds with fear. They ask for wisdom, yet fill every quiet moment with noise. They ask me to strengthen their faith, while surrounding themselves with voices that constantly weaken it. My beloved child, protection is not fear. Protection is wisdom. There are several things I want you to guard carefully. First, guard your peace. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the confidence that I remain with you in every problem. The world will constantly offer reasons to panic. Every day there is another crisis, another argument, another frightening headline, another voice demanding your attention. If you allow every piece of bad news to settle into your heart, anxiety will quietly replace peace. That is why I often invite you to step away from the noise and return to my presence. Notice how Jesus often withdrew from the crowds to pray, even while people were searching for him, even when needs surround him. He understood something many people forget. You cannot continually pour into others if you never allow yourself to be filled. Silence with me was never wasted time. It was the source of his strength. My child, you also need those quiet moments. Not because I need your attention, because your heart needs my presence. Second, guard your habits. Your future is rarely changed by one dramatic decision. More often it is shaped by the small choices you repeat every day. The prayers no one sees. The moments you choose, gratitude over complaining. The decision to forgive instead of replaying an old offense. The habit of opening my word before opening every other voice in the morning. Small habits become powerful over time. Never underestimate what daily faithfulness can accomplish. Third, guard your relationships. Not everyone who enters your life should influence your heart. Some people encourage your faith. Others constantly feed your fears. Some remind you of my promises. Others continually remind you of your failures. Love everyone, but do not give every voice equal access to your soul. The people closest to you will often shape the direction of your thoughts more than you realize. Choose wisely. Fourth, guard your attention. Your attention is one of the greatest gifts I have given you. Whatever consistently captures your attention eventually begins shaping your heart. If your attention is constantly consumed by comparison, you will struggle to recognize contentment. If it is consumed by anger, peace becomes difficult to find. If it is consumed by endless distractions, you may overlook the gentle ways I am already speaking to you. The world competes for your attention every moment. I simply invite you to give me your heart. Fifth, guard your time. Many people believe they have plenty of time until one day they realize they have spent years chasing things that never truly mattered. Be intentional. Do not allow busyness to replace purpose. There is a difference. Busy people often accomplish many things. Purposeful people accomplish the right things. Ask yourself often, does this draw me closer to the life my Father is calling me to live? If the answer is no, perhaps it is time to let it go. Sixth, guard your words. The words you speak do not merely describe your life. They help shape the atmosphere in which you live. Be careful about repeatedly saying, I'll never change. Nothing good happens to me. I always fail. Do not allow your mouth to continually agree with fear. Instead, let your words reflect trust, even while your circumstances are still changing. Finally, guard your spiritual disciplines. Prayer, worship, reading my word, gratitude, quiet reflection. These are not religious duties. They are places where our relationship grows stronger. Do not neglect them simply because life becomes busy. The strongest roots grow through consistent nourishment. Remember Nehemiah. When the walls of Jerusalem were being rebuilt, there were always voices trying to distract him. Some mocked, some criticized, some attempted to lure him away from the work. But Nehemiah understood something important. Not every invitation deserves your attention. Sometimes faith means saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your assignment. Think about Mary, the mother of Jesus. There were moments when she did not fully understand everything I was doing. Yet Scripture tells us that she treasured these things and pondered them in her heart. She did not feel the need to explain every sacred moment to everyone around her. Some miracles become stronger when they are first protected in quietness. My beloved child, one of the greatest mistakes people make today is sharing too much too soon. Not every dream needs immediate approval. Not every prayer needs public announcement. Not every blessing needs to be posted the moment it arrives. Sometimes constant sharing invites unnecessary opinions into places where only my voice should be speaking. Another mistake is trying to please everyone. You were never created to carry every expectation people place upon you. If you spend your entire life trying to satisfy everyone else, you will eventually lose sight of the purpose I have given you. Healthy boundaries are not selfish. They create space for obedience. Even in today's world, this wisdom matters more than ever. Social media can inspire you, but it can also quietly fill your heart with comparison. The endless stream of news can inform you, but it can also convince you that fear should become your daily companion. Negative conversations may seem harmless, yet they slowly shape the atmosphere of your thinking. Be careful about what you repeatedly allow into your heart. Remember this lesson, my beloved child. Whatever I am growing within you deserves intentional protection. Guard your peace. Guard your habits. Guard your relationships. Guard your attention. Guard your time. Guard your words. Guard the quiet places where your faith grows stronger. Because what is deeply rooted cannot easily be shaken. And as you continue protecting what I am building within you, another important question begins to arise. How do you know which voice deserves your trust? In the next part, I will teach you how to recognize the difference between my voice and the voice of fear, so you can walk forward with confidence instead of confusion. My beloved child, there will be moments in your life when the greatest question will not be, "What should I do?" The greatest question will be, "Whose voice am I listening to?" Every day, countless voices compete for your attention. The opinions of others, your past experiences, your fears, your emotions, the endless noise of the world. And in the middle of all of it, my voice continues to speak, not to compete with the noise, but to invite you into peace. Many of my children tell me, "Lord, I just want to hear your voice." But often they are expecting something dramatic while overlooking the gentle ways I have already been speaking. I rarely lead through panic. I rarely lead through confusion. I rarely push you with fear. That is why learning discernment is so important. Discernment is not simply knowing what is right and wrong. It is learning to recognize the difference between my voice and every other voice. Fear has a voice. Your wounds have a voice. Your pride has a voice. Your anxiety has a voice. But none of those voices should become your shepherd. Listen carefully to how fear speaks. Fear is almost always urgent. Hurry. Do something now. If you don't fix this immediately, everything will fall apart. Fear convinces you that waiting is dangerous. It pressures you to make decisions before seeking my wisdom. Fear is also loud. It repeats the same worries over and over until they feel impossible to ignore. It fills your mind with endless what-if questions. What if you fail? What if they reject you? What if this opportunity disappears? What if God doesn't come through? Fear keeps talking until you mistake its persistence for truth. Fear is also confusing. One moment it tells you to move. The next moment it tells you to stay. It causes your thoughts to race in every direction until you become mentally exhausted. Have you ever noticed that after hours of anxious thinking, you rarely feel more peaceful? That is because confusion is not where I lead. My children, now listen to how my voice speaks. My voice is peaceful. This does not mean I always tell you what is easy. Sometimes I will ask you to take courageous steps. Sometimes I will lead you into unfamiliar places. But even when my direction requires courage, it is accompanied by a deep peace that cannot be explained by circumstances. My voice is patient. I do not manipulate you through panic. I am not afraid that you will miss my will because you took time to pray. When I guide you, I invite you to walk with me, not run ahead of me. My voice is consistent. I will not tell you one thing today and the opposite tomorrow. My truth remains steady because my character never changes. The more closely you know me, the more familiar my voice becomes. Think about the young Samuel. When I first called him, he did not recognize my voice. He assumed Eli was calling him because he had not yet learned to distinguish my voice from human voices. But notice what happened. Samuel kept responding. He remained available. Eventually, he learned to recognize that it was I who was speaking. My child's discernment grows in the same way. It is developed through relationships. The more time you spend with me, the easier it becomes to recognize when I am leading you. Consider Elijah as well. After great victories, he expected to encounter me through dramatic displays of power. There was wind. There was an earthquake. There was fire. But I chose to speak through a gentle whisper. Why? Because my presence is not measured by volume. Some of my deepest guidance comes quietly. If your life is constantly filled with noise, distractions, and endless activity, you may miss the whisper because you are only waiting for thunder. That is why I often invite you into stillness. Not because I have stopped speaking, because your heart has become too busy to listen. Many people ask me for clearer directions while filling every quiet moment with their phones, television, endless scrolling, or constant entertainment. Then they wonder why my voice feels distant. My beloved child, if you desire discernment, create space for it. Spend time in my word. The scriptures are one of the clearest ways I speak. I will never guide you to live contrary to what I have already revealed. If a thought encourages bitterness, while my word teaches forgiveness, you already know which voice it is. If a desire leads you away from integrity, you already know it did not come from me. My word is your anchor when emotions become unstable. I also speak through my Holy Spirit. There are moments when you sense a gentle conviction, a quiet reminder, an unexpected peace, a loving correction. The Holy Spirit does not condemn you. He lovingly redirects you toward life. Sometimes I also speak through wise counsel. Not every opinion deserves your attention, but I often place mature, faithful people in your life who can help you see what your emotions cannot. Humility listens. Pride insists on being right. Never confuse independence with spiritual maturity. One of the greatest mistakes my children make is allowing emotions to become their compass. They say, "I don't feel peace, so God must not be here." Or, "I feel excited, so this must be God's will." Feelings matter, but they are not always reliable guides. Excitement can be mistaken for calling. Fear can disguise itself as wisdom. Temporary emotions can cloud eternal truth. That is why I ask you to bring every feeling before me instead of building your life upon it. Pause before reacting. Pray before deciding. Seek my word before following your impulses. My child, not every open door comes from me. Not every closed door is against you. Sometimes I protect you by saying no. Sometimes I prepare you by asking you to wait. Sometimes I strengthen your faith by inviting you to trust without seeing the entire path ahead. The more you learn my heart, the less dependent you become on dramatic signs. You begin recognizing my peace. You begin noticing my consistency. You begin trusting my timing. And slowly, confusion loses its power. Here is the lesson I want you to carry with you. Fear demands immediate action. I invite faithful obedience. Fear creates pressure. I produce peace. Fear keeps your eyes fixed on everything that could go wrong. I gently lift your eyes toward what my faithfulness can accomplish. And once you begin recognizing my voice, another burden will begin to fall away. You will no longer feel the need to prove your worth to me or to anyone else. In the next part, I want to show you why so many people spend their lives trying to earn what I have already freely given through my grace. My beloved child, there is a burden I never asked you to carry, yet so many of my children wake up with it every single day. It is the burden of trying to earn what I have already given. Some believe that if they pray longer, then I will finally love them more. Others think that if they never make another mistake, then they will finally deserve my blessing. Some spend their entire lives trying to prove that they are good enough to their families, to their friends, to their church, and even to me. But listen carefully. I never asked you to earn my love. I never asked you to perform for my acceptance. I never asked you to become perfect before coming into my presence. My love has never been a reward for flawless performance. It has always been a gift of grace. Yet many sincere believers unknowingly live with what I call a performance mindset. They believe that every failure pushes me farther away. Every unanswered prayer must mean they have disappointed me. Every difficult season becomes evidence that I must somehow be unhappy with them. My beloved child, that is not my heart. Performance says, if I do enough, maybe God will love me. Grace says, because God loves me, I can keep growing. Performance is driven by fear. Grace is sustained by love. Performance constantly asks, have I done enough? Grace quietly reminds you, my Father is enough. Do you see the difference? One produces exhaustion. The other produces freedom. This same performance mindset often appears in places you may not expect. Perhaps you constantly try to please everyone around you. You say yes when your heart knows it should say no. You apologize for things that were never your fault. You become anxious whenever someone is disappointed with you. You measure your worth by how happy other people seem to be with you. My child, that is not compassion. That is captivity. When your identity depends upon everyone's approval, you will never experience lasting peace. No matter how much you accomplish, there will always be another expectation, another opinion, another standard, another person you feel responsible to impress. Eventually, you become so busy trying to satisfy everyone else that you forget to simply walk with me. Remember this truth. You cannot faithfully obey me and successfully please everyone at the same time. There will be moments when choosing obedience means disappointing people. Choose obedience. There is another trap many of my children quietly fall into. Comparison. Today it is easier than ever. With a few moments of scrolling, you can convince yourself that everyone else is further ahead. Someone else's ministry appears larger. Someone else's family appears happier. Someone else's career appears more successful. Someone else's faith appears stronger. Little by little, gratitude is replaced by insecurity. You stop celebrating what I am doing in your own life because you are too busy measuring it against someone else's journey. But my beloved child, comparison will always steal the joy of the blessings already in your hands. I never asked Peter to become John. I never asked David to become Moses. I never asked Martha to become Mary. Each one had a unique calling. Each one walked a different path. So why are you trying to live someone else's story instead of embracing the one I am writing for you? Think about Martha. She loved me. She wanted to serve me. Her intentions were good. But somewhere along the way, serving became striving. She became frustrated because she believed she had to do more. Meanwhile, Mary simply sat at my feet. She understood something Martha had not yet discovered. Relationships come before performance. Being with me always comes before doing for me. Service without intimacy eventually becomes a burden. But service flowing from love becomes joy. Then remember the prodigal son. When he returned home, he expected to earn his place back. He rehearsed a speech. He planned to become a servant. He believed he had lost the right to be called a son. But before he could finish explaining himself, his father embraced him. The robe came before the apology was complete. The ring came before his record was examined. The celebration began before he could prove he had changed. Why? Because sonship was never earned. It was restored through love. My beloved child, some of you are still standing outside my house with the speech you have rehearsed for years. You keep saying, "When I finally become better, when I finally stop struggling, when I finally pray enough, then God will truly accept me." No. Come home. My grace meets you before your perfection ever could. Even Paul understood this. He had every reason to boast about his achievements, his knowledge, his discipline, his accomplishments. Yet he eventually realized that none of those things could compare to the grace I freely gave him. Paul stopped building his confidence upon performance. He built it upon Christ. That changed everything. One of the greatest mistakes my children make is believing the answer is simply to try harder. They think, "I just need more discipline. I just need to work harder. I just need to become stronger." Discipline is valuable. Faithfulness matters. Obedience matters. But transformation does not begin with trying harder. It begins with trusting deeper. The branch does not struggle to produce fruit by its own effort. It bears fruit because it remains connected to the vine. In the same way, lasting transformation grows naturally from abiding in me. The closer you walk with me, the more your heart changes. The more you experience my love, the less you feel the need to earn it. The more secure you become in my grace, the less you seek validation from the world. My beloved child, stop measuring your worth by your productivity. Stop believing that your value rises and falls with your latest success or failure. You are not valuable because of what you accomplish. You are valuable because you are mine. Let that truth settle deep within your heart. Rest in my grace. Walk in my love. Serve from gratitude instead of guilt. Obey because you trust me, not because you are trying to impress me. Here is the lesson I want you to remember. The performance asks, "What must I do to be enough?" Grace answers, "In me, you have always been deeply loved." And when that truth finally takes root, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop thinking like the person fear created, and you begin thinking like the son or daughter I have always known. In the next part, I want to show you how that new identity transforms the way you think, respond, and live every single day. My beloved child, by now you may be asking yourself, if you are changing my life, why do I still struggle with some of the same thoughts and reactions? That is an honest question, and I want you to know this. Transformation is not simply about behaving differently. It begins by thinking differently. Many people spend years trying to change their actions without allowing me to change the way they see themselves, others, and the world around them. But behavior is the fruit. Thinking is the root. If the root remains the same, the fruit will eventually remain the same as well. That is why I do not begin by telling you to try harder. I begin by renewing your mind. When I begin forming a new person within you, the first evidence is not that life suddenly becomes easier. The first evidence is that your perspective begins to change. You start responding differently. Situations that once controlled your emotions no longer have the same power. Someone speaks harshly to you, yet instead of immediately reacting with anger, you pause. You bring the moment before me. You choose wisdom over impulse, not because you have become weak, but because my peace has become stronger than your pride. You also begin forgiving differently. The old version of you believed forgiveness meant pretending nothing happened, or perhaps it believed forgiveness meant approving of someone else's actions. But I will teach you something greater. Forgiveness is choosing not to let yesterday's offense continue controlling today's heart. It is not always easy. Sometimes forgiveness is a decision you make more than once. Yet every time you choose it, another chain loses its grip on your life. You are not setting the other person free. You are allowing your own heart to remain free. Then you begin waiting differently. The old version of you viewed waiting as punishment. Every delay felt like rejection. Every unanswered prayer felt like disappointment. But the new heart I am forming understands something the old heart never could. Waiting with me is never wasted. Instead of asking, "Why hasn't anything happened?" you begin asking, "What is God preparing within me during this season?" That single change in perspective transforms everything. Suddenly, even quiet seasons become meaningful. You also begin leading differently. The world often teaches that leadership is about power, recognition, or control. But I teach servant leadership. The strongest leader is often the one willing to listen. The greatest influence belongs to the one who humbly serves. The new person I am forming does not need to prove superiority. They quietly reflect my character. And then you begin loving differently. The old self is often loved with conditions. I will love it if I receive something in return. I will love as long as I feel appreciated. I will love until someone hurts me. But my love does not operate that way. As my love fills your heart, you become less concerned with keeping score. You become more patient, more compassionate, more willing to extend the same grace you have received. This does not mean you become naive. It means your love is no longer controlled by fear. My beloved child, let me show you the difference between the old self and the new self. The old self reacts. The new self responds. The old self seeks revenge. The new self seeks restoration. The old self panics when circumstances change. The new self remembers that I never change. The old self asks, "What if everything goes wrong?" The new self asks, "What if God is already working in ways I cannot yet see?" Do you see what is happening? Your circumstances may look similar, but your thinking has become completely different. Peter is one of the clearest examples of this transformation. Before Pentecost, Peter was often controlled by fear. He acted before thinking. He spoke before listening. When soldiers came to arrest me, Peter reached for a sword. Later, when others questioned him, he denied even knowing me. His emotions often led his decisions. Fear shaped his responses. But after the Holy Spirit filled him, something remarkable happened. Peter was still the same person. He had the same voice, the same background, the same memories. Yet his thinking had been transformed. The man who once trembled before a servant girl boldly proclaimed the gospel before thousands. The man who once feared rejection now embraced obedience regardless of the cost. What changed? Not his personality, his heart, his mind. His confidence was no longer built upon himself. It was built upon me. That is the transformation I desire for you. Not becoming someone else. Becoming the person I created you to be from the very beginning. Many people become discouraged because they expect this transformation to happen overnight. They imagine that after one prayer, every fear will disappear. Every temptation will vanish. Every old habit will instantly be broken. Sometimes I perform miracles in a single moment. But more often, transformation is a journey. Just as a child does not become mature in a single day, spiritual growth happens step by step. Every act of obedience strengthens your faith. Every choice to trust me reshapes your thinking. Every moment spent in my presence changes your heart a little more. Do not become discouraged because you are still growing. Growth is evidence that you are alive. A tree does not become strong overnight. It grows ring by ring, season by season. Some days the growth is invisible, yet it is happening. The same is true for you. Do not compare where you are today with where someone else appears to be. Instead, look back and notice how much I have already changed within you. Perhaps you now pray before worrying. Perhaps you forgive more quickly. Perhaps you recover from disappointment faster than you once did. Perhaps hope returns sooner than it used to. Those are not small changes. They are signs that my Spirit is quietly transforming you from the inside out. So be patient with yourself, my beloved child, just as I have been patient with you. Do not measure your progress only by what still needs to change. Also celebrate what my grace has already accomplished. Here is the lesson I want you to carry with you. Real transformation is not becoming a better version of your old self. It is allowing me to shape an entirely new way of thinking, one that reflects my heart more each day. And when you begin thinking like the son or daughter I created you to be, you are finally ready to step into the life I have been preparing for you all along. In the final part, I will invite you to walk forward with confidence, not as someone striving to become accepted, but as someone who already belongs to me. My beloved child, as we come to the end of this message, I want you to remember one truth above all the others. You do not need to become someone else. You need to become the person I created you to be. For too long, fear tried to tell you who you were. Pain tried to rename you. Disappointment tries to reshape your future. The opinions of others tried to determine your value. But none of those voices had the authority to define your identity. Only I do. I have been with you through every difficult season. I have seen every silent tear. I have heard every prayer you whispered when no one else knew you were struggling. And through every victory and every setback, my purpose for your life has never changed. Today, I am inviting you to walk forward differently. Walk forward knowing you are deeply loved. Walk forward knowing that healing is a journey I am faithfully leading you through. Walk forward with discernment, learning to recognize my voice above every fearful thought. Walk forward expecting growth instead of perfection. Walk forward with confidence that the calling I placed upon your life has not been canceled by your past. Do not spend your future trying to become the version of yourself that the world expects. Become the son or daughter I have always seen. When you fall, come back to me. When you feel uncertain, listen to my voice. When fear tries to return, remember my promises. When the journey feels slow, remember that I am still working, even in the silence. One faithful step at a time is enough. You do not have to know everything about tomorrow. You only need to trust the one who already does. Now, my beloved child, pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for reminding me today that my identity is not defined by fear, failure, or my past. Thank you for loving me even when I struggle to believe in myself. Renew my mind with your truth. Heal the places in my heart that still carry old wounds. Teach me to recognize your voice above every distraction and every lie. Give me the courage to trust your timing, to walk in your peace, and to become the person you created me to be. Let my life reflect your love, your wisdom, and your grace each day. I place my future into your hands, believing that you are leading me one faithful step at a time. In Jesus' name, amen. And now I speak this blessing over you. May your heart be filled with peace instead of fear. May your mind be renewed by truth instead of lies. May your steps be guided by wisdom instead of anxiety. May you find courage where you once found doubt, hope where you once found despair, and joy where you once carried heaviness. Never forget, my child, you are not walking toward my love. You are walking from it. If this message strengthened your faith, share it with someone who needs hope today. Leave your prayer request in the comments so that others can stand with you in prayer. And wherever this new journey leads you, keep walking with me, one faithful step at a time. I will never leave you, and I will never stop working for your good.